So you've invested all this money and time into getting your MBA, and now what's probably top of mind is how do you land that dream job after you get your MBA? And by now you've probably realized that just by getting your MBA, it doesn't automatically open all doors to getting any position or any job that you want without you putting any effort. And that's because the better the job, the more competitive it is. And so in this video series, it's a 4-part video series. What I'm going to do is I'm going to outline the exact steps that you need to go through to separate yourself and stand out among other job candidates. My name is Ivan Lesso, and as an MBA career coach, I've helped a lot of people go through the process fast and land their dream job. And if you are new to this channel, if this is your first time stopping by, subscribe below and hit that bell. That way you'll know when I post other videos in this series, and also when I post other videos on this channel related to the topic of getting that dream offer after you get your MBA. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and get started with the content. And there are 3 things that I wanted to cover in this particular video, and that video is dedicated to the mindset. The mindset that you should have as you're going through the job search process. And the very first thing that I wanted to talk about is the fact that you need to figure out exactly what you want to do. Now, it's sometimes really overwhelming as you're going through this whole process, and as you look at other people going through that process. There's top industries that everybody wants to get into without really thinking that whether this might be the best opportunity for you long term, and whether this is something you'd be happy at doing. To give you an example, as I went through my program, which is the University of Chicago Booth School of Business, a lot of people wanted to get into management consulting. Now, I also went through a series of preps and sessions to prep myself for consulting interviews, and those were great, but I knew that I didn't really want to get into the management consulting industry because you have to be on the road from Monday through Thursday pretty much every week. You have to put a lot of hours, and I just knew that there was something else that I'm passionate about and that I wanted to pursue. Now, fast forward 1 or 2 years after I've graduated, I have looked at people that really rushed into the management consulting industry, and they were either looking for a new job 1 or 2 years after school, or they've switched careers completely. So they went ahead and did something completely different than management consulting. And that kind of told me, as I'm working with other people, that you have to step back and determine, what kind of company would you be excited to work for? For me, for example, as I was going through an MBA, I knew that I really wanted to work for a company that I'm very passionate about. And I'm personally passionate about technology, so I knew that companies like Google, Facebook, Salesforce are the ones that I really wanted to focus my efforts on. So for you, think about it this way. Where would you want to work, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, and still be excited about it? And that could mean maybe some companies that whose products you use today. Maybe it's Apple because you own an Apple and you're just really passionate about that company. And Apple, it does for sure have positions for MBAs, right? So I think the bottom line is, don't be overwhelmed by what everybody else is doing as they're going through recruiting, or maybe as they've graduated, they want to get into certain popular industry. And some of them are, again, as I mentioned, management consulting, it could be investment banking, or any others, private equity, VC, any of those. So step back and really figure out, what is the company? What kind of position do you want to get into? So in a company that you're passionate about, what is it that actually makes you excited to do? And for me, for example, when I was going through my MBA, I knew that I was really passionate about solving cases. Maybe it was the Harvard Business School cases, HBS business cases, that we've done as part of groups, but I was always excited in doing those cases, and that kind of told me that I really wanted to get into a position where I would solve problems on a strategic level and help customers really solve their problems on a strategic level. So try to find something that you enjoy doing as part of your MBA, or if you've had some things in the past before getting your MBA that you've enjoyed doing, really zone in on those things, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that your career or your position is sustainable. And really the only, well, not the only, but the main way to do that is to make sure that you're passionate about what is it that you do. So first thing is make sure that you are passionate about the company. The second thing is make sure that you're passionate about what you will be doing, or the positions that you're trying to get into will give you the work that you'll enjoy doing. I think the third piece that's really important is the people that you work with, but that's for a later video. When you're going through interviews and you're doing networking, that's the best time to really figure out the people that you would be working with. So that's the tip number one. Make sure you step back and really figure out on what exactly that you want to do, instead of just following the popular career choices and the popular industries. Now, the second tip that I have for you is don't worry about the lack of experience that you might have in any particular industry you're trying to get into. And here's why. And I'll give you an example. First of all, the employers know that because you got into a business school, and if it's a good program, they know that it's not easy to get into that program. As a result, they know that you are smart and capable of doing anything that they throw at you. And because of that, they know that you'll pick up any skill, any knowledge that is required in that particular industry, even though you might not have experience in that particular thing. So for me, for example, I haven't done anything. Well, I shouldn't say that. I've done some things that I do today as part of what I do, but it doesn't mean that I've had decades of experience doing that thing. But because as I was speaking to different people, I had to recognize what is it, that the job involves. As I was speaking with recruiters, the hiring managers, they told me the types of things that I would be doing. And I always was able to draw parallels and give examples of the things I've done in the past that might be similar, but not the exact things that they are looking for. So don't make lack of experience really discourage you from trying the industries that perhaps you have passion for, or you've learned that that's something that you want to do in the future. And I think that there are tons of examples of people doing one thing before an MBA, then getting their MBA, and then switching industries, switching careers, because at the end of the day, really getting your MBA is a good way to switch careers if you want to do something new, or if you want to double down on something that you've really caught your interest as you were going through an MBA program. So that's the second tip. Don't worry about the lack of experience in an industry that you're trying to get into. All right, and the third tip that I have for you is to start identifying people that will help you get that dream job. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to find people that will give you a referral tomorrow, but instead, start identifying people that could be your mentors, could share insights about a particular industry or companies. And if you're in school now, it's a great opportunity to start early. And if you've graduated, it's also a great opportunity to speak as many people as possible, get their insights, because at the end of the day, what they'll give you is the knowledge that will separate you from other candidates, because you'll know the ins and outs of a position, of an industry, or a company, and then you can tailor your resume, your stories, or anything else around that. Now, let me give you a story. As I was going through my MBA, I started reaching out to people really early. and I was reaching out to them, and I was mainly asking about their experience and for any advice that they could give me when they were in my shoes. And what happened was I met this one individual who was really friendly, and he was just great to speak with. And then fast forward 1 or 2 years, as I was going through the recruiting process as part of the MBA program, a recruiter told me that about a year or two ago, somebody emailed her and gave a really positive recommendation about me. And she saved that recommendation, and I was able to actually be invited to the first round of interviews because it was so good, and she just kind of put a star next to my name as a result of that. And let me remind you that I didn't ask for anything. All I did was I literally just asked the person about his experience going through the same process that I'm going through. And that helped me get to the first round of interviews 1 year or year and a half later. So it kind of tells you the importance of speaking to as many people as possible, asking them questions, making sure that they share their advice with you. And actually, it's a good segue to the next video that I have in this series, or the next stage of your job search process after having the right mindset, and that is the ability to network with as many people as possible. So in that second video, what I'm going to share with you is the tools that I've used in the past networking with people. I'll share some of the templates that I've used to reach out to people on LinkedIn or just through email that had a really good success rate. So make sure that you watch the second video, and if you're new to this channel, definitely subscribe below. That way you'll know exactly when that next video is going to show up on my channel. And again, this is the entire video series. There's going to be 4 videos for every stage of the job search cycle for MBA. So first one is mindset, second one is networking, then it's all about your resume, and then the last one is all about interviews. So this is Ivan Lessa with MBAthink.com, and I'll see you in the next video.